So let's move on to the next question, guys. This question is a little bit confusing, and so just try to kind of pay more attention and understand what I'm trying to say. So in the question, it's given that there are 15 homes, right? And the mean of all those 15 homes, like the mean of the prices of all those homes is 150. So it's actually 150,000, but for simplicity, I've written it 150. So everywhere 150, 130, 130, 165, wherever you see, it basically means 165,000, 130,000, 150,000. But for simplicity, I've removed that part. So I'm only writing 150, 130. Okay, so the median is given out to be 130 of all the homes, right? And the mean is given out to be 150, right? The price, basically. So there are 15 homes, right? And we are given three options that at least one home is greater than 165, uh, at least one home is between 130 and 150, like the price of at least one home, and the price of at least one home is less than 130 or less than 130,000, right? And just pay attention to this word must. So which of the following can be true? We have to tell, or I mean, which of the following must be true? So this is the question, right? Which of all these options, select all, for which of these must be true? Okay, so there are 15 homes, right? So let's suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Again, I am doing like this just to explain you and so that you can understand better. In the exam, you don't have to do like this. You just have to, kind of do it mentally, and with practice, you'll be able to do it easily. Okay. So, firstly, we know the median is 130, right? So, for all these 15 homes, for example, this is the price of one home, this is the price of the second home, this is the price of the third home, this is the price of the fourth home, and so on, right? The median price is 130, right? What is the median? So there are 15 homes, right? There are 15 homes. So what will be the median be? The median will be n plus 1 by 2. Why? Because this is odd. N is equals to 15 is odd. So the median will be n plus 1 by 2, right? So the median will be n plus 1 by 2, which is 15 plus 1 by 2, which is 8, right? So n plus 1 by 2 means 15 plus 1 by 2, which is 16 by 2, so 8. So that means the price of the 8th home is 130, right? So what is the 8th home over here? So the 8th home over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th home, right? And the price of this is how much? 130. So I hope this should be clear that the median is 130, meaning the 8th home, the price of that 8th home is 130. Okay, perfect. Apart from that, I would also like to tell over here that the mean is given to be 150, right? So what is the mean? The mean is equals to the total sum upon number, right? This is the formula for the mean. Mean is equals to the total sum upon the total number of objects, right? So mean is given out to be 150, right? So 150 is equals to total sum upon the number. How many homes are there? 15. So that is 15, right? So that is 15. So the total sum comes out to be how much? 15 into 150, which is 2250, right? So this is a total sum. Total sum means the sum of this house plus the sum of this house plus the sum of this house up till over here. So the sum of all the individual houses, that is 2250, right? And one of them is 130 over here, which is the 8th house, right? I hope this should be clear till now. Okay, now let's see the options. So First, let's start with the third option, right? It is mentioned that at least one home, that the price of at least one home should be less than 130. So what we say is that let's assume there is no home whose price is less than 130. Or you can also say it like that all the homes, their prices are either 130 or greater than 130, right? I hope this is clear. So in the question it's given that at least one home is less than 130. This is one possible option which is given. So let's assume that all the homes, the prices of all the homes, they are either 130 or greater than 130. It is not less than 130. Okay, this is an assumption. So okay, one more thing to add over here, that all these houses are arranged in ascending order. Why? Because this was the median, right? 130, this was the median, and we know median is always arranged in ascending order. That means all the houses to the left of 130, meaning this house up till this house, this will either be less than 130 or equal to 130, right? And all the houses to the right of this, means starting from this house to this house, they will either be 130 or greater than 130, right? I hope this is clear. For example, uh, 2 3 4, this is an ascending order, right? Because if you look at 3, the left side is smaller than 3 and the right side is bigger than 3, right? But for example, 3 3 3, this is also kind of ascending order. Why? Because the middle element is 3, but the left element is also 3. So you can say this is ascending order, right? So similarly, all the homes on the left, they can either be 130 or less than 130, and all the homes on the right, they can either be 130 or greater than 130, right? Okay. Now, it was given in the question that one option was at least one home should be less than 130. We assume that this is false, or we assume that all the homes present, they are either 130 or greater than 130, right? So we know that if we talk about the houses on the left of 130, they can either be less than 130 or equal to 130. But we just mentioned that let's assume there is no house less than 130. So the only option we are left with is that all these houses should be 130. I hope I am clear, right? So this is 130, 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 and this is 130, and this is 130, right? So all these homes on the left of 130, they can either be less than 130 or equal to 130. But we have assumed right now that no house is less than 130. So the only option we are left with is that all these houses are equal to 130. Okay, should be fine. Now, what I want you to do is that I want you to calculate the sum of all these houses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the sum of houses from this to this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So the sum will be, if I write it over here, the sum will be 130 into 8. Right? 130 into 8, which is equals to 1040, right? So now if I subtract the total sum minus this sum, so what will we get? The sum of the remaining houses, right? If we subtract the total sum, which is 2250, minus the sum of these houses, which is 1040, then we'll get the sum of the remaining houses, right? So the remaining sum is equals to 2250 minus 1040, right, which turns out to be 0 1, right, 2 1, which turns out to be 1210. That means the sum of this house plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this is 1210. Okay, so if we want to calculate the average cost of a house for these remaining houses, what we can do, we can divide the total sum upon the total number of houses. So how many houses are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So the average value will be 1210 divided by 7, which is how much? This is 7 ones is 7, 7 sevens are 49, 2, almost 173, almost, right? It is almost 173, 172 point something, but approximately 173, right? That means the cost of this house is 173, 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 this house is 173, this house is 173, and this house is 173, right? I hope this is clear. So now let's move back to the options. We were given that the price of at least one home should be less than 130. Do you think this is always true? No, right? This is not always true. Why? Because we just calculated the price of the house of the least value is 130, right? And it goes up till 173. So 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 173, 173, 173, 173. So the minimum cost of a house is 130, right? So at least one home should be less than 130, maybe in some cases, but not always, right? Because you can see over here. So this option is wrong. Okay. Now, at least the price of one home should be between 130 and 150. Do you think this is always true? That the price of at least one house is between 130 and 150? Again, no, right? Because if you can see from here, the price of the house from the first house to the eighth house is 130, right? And from this house up till this house, the price is 173, right? But there is no house whose price is between 130 and 150, right? Yeah, the price is 130, but we are talking about between, meaning the price should be greater than 130 and less than 150. So there is no option like this. I mean, there is no house like this, right? So this is not, this can be true, but this is not always true, right? So this is also wrong because we are looking for must. So the only option we are left with is the first option. So your answer is A, right? So this is the solution to this question. It might seem a little tricky and complex, but if you do it yourself one or two times and understand it by yourself, I think then you'll be able to do it very clearly. Okay. So one approach to solve this question was that we eliminated both these answers. So whatever we are left with is the first option. We can also solve it and prove the first option, but I don't think that is required. What you can do is just go through the question once again, see these two options are not possible, and you can take the first one. I hope this should be clear.